All right, folks, it is close to 1 a.m. and I'm obviously not sleeping. I am walking through strangely empty streets tonight. Um, I was going to try to get some sleep, but something told me that I needed to make this video. I've been thinking about it all day, kind of playing around with the idea, but not really doing anything about it. And I don't know. Voice in the back of my head was like, nope, nope, please, you need to do this. So here I am, walking and talking, like always. First, I'd like to dedicate this video to the White Dragon Society. It took me a while to figure out who you guys were, but now that I know, you guys can go screw yourselves. Seriously. Like, I don't care anymore at this point, and every time you guys continue to, like, irritate me, I'm just gonna say more and more things, because I'm just like, I'm done, man. Like, this crap is so freaking annoying, and it's just like, I've been going through attacks, intimidations, like, crazy things have been happening lately. And it's funny because since I started my channel, those things seem to be going up. And it's funny, like, I kind of always know, depending on what I say, you know, usually I can tell by, you know, the amount of irritations I get. But them in particularly, like, they've got a beef with me and a lot of others. And they just like making people's lives a living hell. Like, and this goes beyond just normal, like, stalking and doing stuff. Like, it's messed up. But we're at a point where, you know, we don't have to deal with that anymore. And people need to stop taking their crap. Anyway, like I said, this video is dedicated to them. So, what I wanted to talk about was the Reptilian third eye. Yeah. So, just a quick preface or disclaimer. I don't expect everybody to believe what I believe, how I believe what I believe, but I know what I've experienced. I know what I've seen, okay? And this is a continuous process of, like, putting things together, getting the pieces. You know, it's like a bunch of puzzle pieces all over the floor, and you're putting them together the best you can. You don't even know what the hell the picture is. You're just trying like hell to assemble something that makes some sense, right? Because everything is just, it's better than just looking at the chaos of just scattered puzzle pieces. And, you know, there are just certain things that I've seen, certain things that I've experienced, certain things that have been, like, kind of hammered into my brain because I see them over and over again. You have confirmations, you have things that you're pointed towards, okay? And I know that while they may not be the largest group, this planet, this world, is under, I'm not going to say under, this world has had a problem with reptilian beings for a very long time, okay? I hear people, you've heard people, not you, I don't know if you've heard, I've heard people talk about, there are positive ones. I know what I've experienced, I know what I've seen, I know what I've gone through, I know what I feel intuitively. And I've seen them. I've seen them change. I've seen them, they exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, oh, I'm into David Icke or what. No, I've seen them, they exist. I know how they act. I know they're, like, kind of like some of their characteristics. It's once you kind of get, like, locked into it, like tuned into it, you kind of can see it. It's very, very interesting once you start to, like, oh, okay, that's how, oh, because you're one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it works. I just, like I keep saying, I want to make my videos to help people, to kind of give them an idea of what's going on. And, like, a lot of this, man, a lot of this is like reptilian garbage, and there are other groups, factions, sections, whatever, that are, you know, vying for a piece of the pie, that are just utterly trash, messing with, you know, people. I mean, like, it's bad. Like, we're at a point where things are turning around, but it's bad, and it's a fight, and it's a thing you have to continuously go through. And the screwed up part about all of this is it's all behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's messed up, because like there's so many like casualties of war and people that are just enduring so much right now because of these sons of bitches. You get what I'm saying? So, sons of serpents, whatever. Anyway, so one thing that I don't hear a lot of people talk about is the reptilian third eye. I've heard that there are different versions of them. Like, for example, I was mentioning earlier the White Dragon Society. The White Dragon Society, their whole thing has to do with, apparently you go to the high up, the top of the top, and your reptilians are like, they're white colored. That's what they look like. They're not green, they're not brown, they are white. So, you know, in the White Dragon Society, I guess they factor into that because they feel like they're the whatever, who cares? But yeah, so some of them have wings, but a lot of them have these third eyes. They're at the center of their forehead. And see, you hear about like, there's like all these different like, when it comes to like metaphysics and New Age, all that, you always hear about the third eye, the third eye, the third eye. And it's like, yes, there are parts of the human mind that factor into that. Yes, there is such a thing as the pineal gland. Yes, the pineal gland does in fact allow you to decipher aspects of different realities and dimensions, okay? Because you're not seeing with an eye, when I'm talking about the pineal gland, you're adding like extra dimensional code and kind of forming a mental or psychic imprint or image through that, all right? But the reason you keep seeing this whole eye thing, it has to do with the reptilians. Like, they have a third, or I don't know if like the lower hybrids, like the trashy hybrids, see, a lot of them use technology, but when you get up the ladder, like the actual reptilians, they have a third eye. And that eye, it is a psychic weapon. I've said so many times, like, you're dealing with like psychic warfare, spiritual warfare, whatever you want to call it, but it has to do with these certain things. You get what I'm saying? And they have this third eye. It's in there, and it's not like a regular eye. It's like an eye kind of turned sideways, but it opens up, and they can psychically attack you with this third eye. You get what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't even know what the hell's happening, what's coming, what's hit you. You know what I'm saying? It can paralyze you. It can scare you. Again, people are going through all this stuff. You know, people are having anxiety. People are feeling, yeah, because you're being attacked. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's also where the whole evil eye thing comes from. Historically, you know, it's not just like, you know, someone's looking at you bad. No, that crap comes from like that reptilian thing, where they would put that one eye on you, and it can like stop you cold. You literally have to fortify yourself psychically to put up enough barriers to block that crap, okay? Because it's happening, because they do that, you know what I'm saying? It's like I said, it's screwed. It's like screwy, you know, it's messed up. And like the more I see, like day by day by day, the more that gets revealed to me, and it's like, yeah, this is even worse than I thought. Because it's just like, you know, people are constantly dealing with this garbage. You know, they're having their minds messed with. They're having, you know, thoughts tampered with, the mind control, all that stuff. And they're behind so much of that garbage. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah. Third eye. Most of them, I don't know if like I said, the hybrids have them. Most of the full blooded ones, they have third eyes. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you actually want some information on that, there's actually a video. What is his name? Credo Mutua. I have posted a video. I think I posted one of his videos earlier on my channel. I'm not sure it was the one that he talks about it, but see, he talks about this in like a 4 or 6 hour documentary with David Icke. And see, I've heard stories or people talk about like, oh, David Icke's a shapeshifter. David Icke, see, like, I don't know what's going on with David Icke, but I do know David Icke put out good information. Like, he put out good information. You could say, you know, he did leave certain things out. He was kind of focused on the reptilians, but I mean, I can understand why. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're pieces of shit. But anyway, in the video, Credo Mutua talks about this whole story with the South, I think it's Zulu people. Like he's like a shaman or like a record keeper or whatever. And they talk about like these beings that came from somewhere else. And see also too, really quick, when it comes to the reptilians, like one of the big lies is where they're from. Like, they ain't from space. They're not, like, that's all bullshit. Like, that's, like, I personally believe that they have something to do with, like, the pit, the abyss. Like, they're from down there. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, not to deviate, we'll come back to Credo Mutua in a second, but the Emerald Tablets of Thoth talks about that. And again, I can see how some people might have problems with the Emerald Tablets. I don't, because there's certain information in there. It's important, especially how Thoth talks about the fall of Atlantis. This happened before. It will happen again, or it is happening again. You know what I'm saying? Thoth talks about these beings. They were raised up from the deep. They were raised up from these lower, darker realms, and they started infiltrating society. They started infiltrating Atlantis. You know what I'm saying? They were like, you couldn't tell who was who. You know, I've actually heard there was actually a word they used to make people say back in Atlantis, and if you were a human you could say it, if you were a serpent you couldn't, whatever. But one of the reasons Atlantis fell, because it was so bad. That's why. Anyway, but like I said, there's just a section, if you can find it, it's just where he talks about the he names them. He's like, they're serpent headed. You know, only through sound or frequency can they really be seen. They exist in the spaces between space. They exist at the angles that man cannot see. That's, I'm paraphrasing, but that's in the Emerald Tablets. Anyway, back to Credo Mutua. So Credo Mutua talks about these beings that came from another place called the Chitauri, or the Chitauri, which is so funny because if you watch the first Avengers movie, the army that Loki is commanding, they're called the Chitauri. And they mention that a couple of times. Just a quick comic book geek like tidbit. The comic that particular movie was based on, it's like called Ultimate Avengers or something. In that, the Chitauri were actually shape-shifting lizards who had basically been infiltrating the world since like World War II. They were helping the Nazis, all that stuff. Anyway, so they changed that completely for the movie because, you know, just like in They Live, they changed. God, I'm deviating. Sorry. Back to Credo Mutua in a second. The original story, which I posted 8 o'clock in the morning. I posted on my channel. In that story, they're reptiles, and they changed it in the movie to ghouls. I think that was like the one thing that like they're like, nah, you can't do this. That's too much information. Anyway, so Credo Mutua talks about these beings called the Chitauri. They come down. They say that they are gods and whatever. They want to be worshipped. They trick people into worshiping them. They're basically complete. It's horrible. Like they're manipulating people. It's like and the same shit's going on now than it was going on back then. One thing that was really interesting is that Credo Mutua talks about like the true creator, you know, and speaks specific about them like being at war or going to war with the creator God. So, you know, make of that what you want. Or trying to go to war. Anyway, so yeah, but he talks about that third eye. Like, in fact, if you look at the video, and it's like it's David Icke, Credo Mutual, just YouTube it. Like I said, it's 6 hours, but if you have the time, just break it up. A lot of good information. There's a painting that Credo Mutual did. It's behind him, and it's of one of these reptilians. Which is so funny because he tells a story about, like, I think in his version, it's like this queen and a king, and they come down, and then they just, you know, whatever. So yeah, it's like I said, it's I'm trying to think of like other, like, movies or something else where, like, I've seen that, but I was thinking about it today, and I was like, nobody talks about that, nobody really mentions that, but they have a third eye, you know. And again, it's like, I think there's been such, even in like the quote unquote truth community, there's been such a, I don't know, because like certain people are just like, oh, I don't, you know, that, I think the lizards are kind of like a red herring. It's like, they're not. I see them all the time. Like, most of them are awful, at least the ones that interact with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this predatory, like, stalking, like, this just twisted, like, I'm trying to think of the word, this twisted sense of ownership that they think that they have. You know what I'm saying? And everything they do is in the dark. That's how they operate, which also should tell you something, you know? Because, like, there was a time where these beings are walking around, and they learned that, like, they have to infiltrate. They have to infiltrate. That's the only way it works. You know what I'm saying? Again, just like Atlantis, they had to infiltrate. And then it was like, oh crap, most of the people ain't people. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's, I just think that at this point in time, people just should know more about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, like, there are other groups, other gods. There's so many others, but yeah, it's just like every time I come into contact with like this, like, okay, really quick, because I feel like it should be said, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's been on my mind, like, heavily, because I mean, I heard a story like years ago, and then, you know, now that I've been going through what I've been going through, I understand, you know what I'm saying? And I think that this guy went about it completely wrong, but like, they were messing with him. They were messing with his mind. They were messing with everything. Look up the guy Kyle Odom. It was a story years ago about this guy who just, like, quote unquote lost his mind. I think he shot a pastor at a church because he accused him of being like, well, he doesn't, in his manifesto, he calls them Martians, right? And he has like there's a crazy drawing of like a weird creature with a weird head, and he's claiming they're Martians. But I think that's BS. First of all, I think when they released the guy's manifesto, they broke it. Like, they didn't release all of it, because he goes into like every detail of his experiences. And he also lists out the technology they use, everything. And he's pretty much on the money. You know what I'm saying? It's like this weird possession of mankind. They're obsessed with like sex and violence, all that stuff. But, like I said, he shot this pastor like 7 times, and the pastor actually survived. He said he was a reptilian, or he said he was a Martian. I'm using air quotes. But I mean, I think it's still like a good breed. But again, this guy was driven to the point where he's like out shooting people, and it's like, there are other people it's happened to. You know what I'm saying? Because again, it's like, when you wake up, or you start to, you know, they hone in on you, and it's like a constant battle every single day to like keep your defenses fortified. And if you've never even come to that conclusion, You know what I'm saying? If you don't even know that's what's going on, I feel so bad for you. Like I do. My heart goes out. It really does. Because I know that there are people that are, being affected by these things, these beings all the time. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like, and they don't know. So that, they'll take their own lives, whatever. And really the truth was they were just sensitive to what was going on around them. And once you start to wake up, once you start to see this place for what it really is, there's certain things like you can't just switch off. Like, it's just certain, I guess maybe certain people's minds work a different way. I don't know. But I'm just telling you, again, what I know. The reptilian third eye, it's totally a thing. Like I said, I don't think that they all have it, but it even goes back to, because I can pretty much like intuitively just kind of sense and tell, but it's like you can feel it when it hits you. You know what I'm saying? And like sometimes you'll have more than one that'll kind of crowd and kind of hit you at the same time. And it's just like, whew, but again, you can defend yourself against this. And one of the best ways to defend yourself is to know, like knowledge is powerful because once you know things, you've unlocked certain parts of your mind, of your psyche that are just unlocked. Like they can't be, you know what I'm saying? So you should know. Knowing helps. Knowledge is kind of a thing, it kind of needs to be a thing anyway. But yeah, that's my rant for tonight. And hope everybody's doing fine. Take it easy, folks.